It is rare that on the day of a world leader's death that reaction strays much from accolades and praise. The death of Margaret Thatcher has proved one of those extraordinary times. The former British Prime Minister was a polarizing figure for all her years in power. She had many supporters who propelled her to 3 majority governments. She also sparked great anger, even hatred, over some of her policies. Perhaps tellingly, she wore her moniker Iron Lady with pride. The CBC's Anne McMillan begins our coverage tonight. Anne.
Tonight, mourners have been placing flowers outside Margaret Thatcher's house in London, Peter, and even though it's very soon after her death, there's also been criticism. In recent years, she suffered from dementia and strokes, but never lost her determined spirit, a trademark that made her one of the most effective and controversial of leaders.
The real thing about Margaret Thatcher is that she didn't just lead our country, she saved our country.
Where there is discord, may we bring harmony.
She spoke of harmony when first elected Prime Minister in 1979, but there was dissent when Thatcher tackled Britain's crippled economy. She crushed the unions and cut government spending. Soaring unemployment led to violent protests, but Thatcher refused to back down.
You turn if you want to. The ladies not for turning.
Many voters loved what she stood for.
She was fantastic, yeah. We need another leader like her.
But then, as now, she was hated too.
Margaret Thatcher destroyed my hometown. I'm glad she's dead.
Thatcher said she learned valuable lessons working in her father's grocery store. Lessons about not living beyond your means and having the courage of your convictions. When she first became Conservative leader, her advisors tried to soften her image, changing her hairstyle and giving her voice training.
Is enough. It's a lowering, not a raising.
Enough is enough.
But Thatcher got votes by being tough. When Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands in 1982, she sent a naval task force to win back the tiny islands for Britain, and went on to win a second landslide election victory. 2 years later, she narrowly escaped death when the IRA bombed a hotel where Thatcher was staying. 5 people died.
All attempts to destroy democracy by terrorism will fail.
Thatcher was a harsh critic of Soviet policy, prompting a Russian newspaper to dub her the Iron Lady. She won 3 straight elections, but in the end, her dogmatic style alienated key Tory ministers.
No!
Forced to resign, she bade a tearful farewell to Downing Street in 1990. Public appearances became increasingly rare. Margaret Thatcher will be given a ceremonial funeral at St. Paul's Cathedral sometime next week, and at her request, British Armed Forces will play a major role, Peter.
And you were in London when Margaret Thatcher was first elected in 1979. What are your memories of her time in office?
I remember Margaret Thatcher as an unstoppable force. She was always rushing with a big handbag. She could be charming. She was meant to be very kind to her staff. But above all, she was tough and determined, and she usually got what she wanted. And that's why she had enemies as well as friends.
All right, Anne, thanks very much. Anne McMillan in London.